Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Calbright College Board of Trustees Executive Committee meeting to order this morning on October 16th, my youngest son's birthday, at 11 a.m. And before the meeting gets started, I'd like to ask our board liaison to review the meeting procedures and protocols.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Terry Lucas, Board Liaison at Calbright College. You can follow our meeting agenda on Board Docs. The link can be found on our website, which is calbright.org/board. For attendees who wish to make public comment in person, please fill out a public comment card and submit to the board liaison. For attendees who participate remotely, please use the Q&A feature on Zoom to address the board for up to 3 minutes. Public comment should be used to address today's agenda. A reminder that this board meeting is being recorded. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Can you please call the roll?
Hildegard Aguinaldo. Amy Costa.
Here.
Tom Epstein.
Here.
Pam Haynes.
Here.
Jennifer Perry. Bill Rawlings.
Who's here?
I see.
I see 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were muted.
Oh,
I'm here.
yeah, we hear you now, Bill.
There we go.
We have a quorum, President Costa.
I know, he
I
lives at this
know.
college all alone. Hey, Bill. With that, I'm gonna lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Hand over your hearts. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much, everyone. I am going to forego my president's report and hand it over to our very able CEO for her report.
Good morning, President Costa, Vice President Aguinaldo, and members of the Calbright College Board of Trustees Executive Committee. I wanted to start off by recognizing that this is President Costa's last meeting as president of the Calbright Board of Trustees.
Drinks at noon.
Share my, we have a policy against that.
Good.
Just to be clear, that is on the books. I wanted to start off just by recognizing President Costa and how truly grateful I am for all the strategic insights, the advocacy, and the guidance over the past 2 years. President Costa, it's been a pleasure to work with you and really to work with you towards turning Calbright's mission into reality for adult learners across California, and really building and innovating and leading the board along the way. Your experience in both higher education and public policy has been a true game changer in what we've been able to accomplish, and just want to thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
So earlier this month, I participated in a panel at the Vision 2030 Non-Credit Summit, where I shared the stage with Chancellor Christian and several incredible California women leaders who are all involved in shaping the future of non-credit higher education. It was truly inspiring to be shoulder to shoulder with these remarkable and coincidentally all diverse leaders who were creating new opportunities for the state's 6.8 million potential adult learners. What was incredible about the Non-Credit Summit was it really spoke to Calbright's strengths and underscored the critical need to uplift in-demand skills that are essential to driving real educational and economic opportunities for the population we serve. And that's regardless of entry point into Calbright or into any other higher education institution. At Calbright, we are continuing to see increasing alignment between our work and the needs of the state. Last week, for example, I had the opportunity to participate in the California Economic Summit along with the Calbright's government relations and workforce teams. It was a meaningful conversation of industry, community, private, public, nonprofit sectors who were all committed to collaborating and building an inclusive and more resilient California economy for all. It also brought into specific focus the very specific role that we play in education and skills training that's designed to bridge the opportunity gap that's facing those in our communities who continue to find access to education and good jobs increasingly out of reach. That's a long way of saying that Calbright's model is well-timed, and it's a well-timed solution to strengthen California's economy and to meet the needs of working age Californians. And what's extraordinary is we're positioned to have even greater impact in the years to come. October is also a very special month here at Calbright because it marks the yearly anniversary of when we first officially opened our virtual doors to students. So on October 1st, we celebrated 5 years of serving our learners. And since then, we've reached some critical milestones as we grow and learn how best to continue evolving, serving well this unique population of learners. We've become fully accredited, serving over 4,200 students actively enrolled, 52 out of 58 counties, and awarded over 900 certifications. And I'm also thrilled to share that this fall will bring even more growth with plans to launch 4 new programs, including the public launch of both our project management and network technology programs, a limited launch of medical coding, and a pilot launch of human resources learning and development. So in today's agenda, we're going to bring on more talented team members to continue this growth and underscore our mission to maintain a student-centered college that's focused around meeting the needs of specific to each learner. And with the addition of new team members, I also want to pause and celebrate a huge achievement for the existing Calbright team, which is that Calbright is officially certified as a Great Places to Work designation for this year. In June of this year, we partnered with Great Places to Work, which is a global leader in workplace culture, to administer what's called a trust index survey. And it's really to gain initial views and benchmark our current workplace environment. And this is achieved really through listening to the most important voices, which is our team members, our employees. It's a truly rare occurrence for the organization to achieve something like this on their first survey. So we essentially scored over 30% higher in employee satisfaction than the typical US-based company or organization. Pursuant to the June survey, the majority of Calbright team members referenced our mission, our students, our innovative activities, and most of all, one another, their colleagues, as what made Calbright a great place to work. And I think better yet is that most Calbright team members also highlighted the idea that this was very mission driven. It isn't just a job, but it is a community. I'm truly proud of the strong team and healthy, inclusive culture that we've built as we move this important work forward. And as this is true to the Calbright motto, we are focused on continuous improvement and look forward to building on our strengths and actually leveraging the survey data to support actionable strategies that ensure all Calbright team members experience a positive workplace culture. Finally, iteration and measuring outcomes as a critical part of what we do in our day jobs is also an essential part of how we will innovate as an organization and the culture of our organization. Great Places to Work will use the yearly Trust Index survey to gauge our progress and to help us sustain that kind of a strong culture. So overall, this means we can take a closer look at advancing communication from leadership across the entire college, while also ensuring that Calbright team members are aligned across departments, with our North Star being always focused on driving student success and matching students to those strong career pathways. And with that, I will pass it back to President Costa.
Thank you so much. Great update. Lots of good news. Colleagues, I do have to go back. I jumped the gun a little bit and ask if any of you have any discussion on the order of the agenda. Phew, seeing none, we're good. We are now going to move into closed session. We are anticipating to return from closed session in about 30 minutes or so. So with that, we will break. Thank you.
You keep on saying 30 minutes.
That's what. We are back. And I was remiss, and before we broke for closed session, I failed to ask if there was any public comment regarding our closed session. Is there any public comment on the matter?
There is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. I do have a report out. In closed session, the Board of Trustees Executive Committee voted to approve settlement with a former certified employee of per case LA-CE-6864-E and related pending California Public Records Act requests, including mutual waivers of claims, effective today, October 16th, 2024. The roll call vote was as follows. Ayes, Haynes, Epstein, Rawlings, and Costa. No nays, and 2 board members absent, Perry and Aguinaldo. All right, with that, we are moving on to section 3, the consent portion of our agenda. Do any trustees wish to remove an item from our consent agenda for discussion or for a separate vote? Seeing none, is there any public comment on our consent agenda?
There is no public comment, President Costa.
Thank you. Colleagues, with that, I would be willing to entertain a motion and a second.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
I have Haynes with the motion, Epstein with the second. With that, can you please call the roll?
Amy Costa,
Aye.
Tom Epstein,
Aye.
Pam Haynes,
Aye.
Bill Rawlings.
Aye.
Motion carries, President Costa.
Thank you so much. Next up, we are moving on to the action portion of the agenda, section 4. We're on item 4.1, and this is the California School Employees Association and its Calbright chapter, number 53, and Calbright College sunshine items with the intent to begin collective bargaining. We have our Vice President of Human Resources, Joseph Bremgartner, to present.
Good morning, President Costa and members of the board. This item presents a request to accept the initial proposals from CSCA that will allow us to begin negotiations for a successor agreement with the California School Employees Association and its Calbright chapter number 53. Collective bargaining agreement. The collective bargaining agreement will expire on June 30th, 2025. So this is a successor agreement. This item is to make the interests of each party transparent and allow for public comment.
Great. Thank you so much for the presentation. Colleagues, any discussion or questions or comments on this item? I'm not seeing any. Is there any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment, President Costa.
Great, thank you. With that, colleagues, I'm willing to entertain a motion and a second on item 4.1.
So moved.
Approve, Rawlings.
Okay, I've got Epstein with a motion. I'm gonna have Rawlings the second. With that, can you please call the roll?
Amy Costa,
Aye.
Tom Epstein,
Aye.
Pam Haynes,
Aye.
Bill Rawlings.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you so much. That's for the presentation. Next up, we have item 4.2 with our Vice President of Marketing, Communications and Outreach, Mackenzie Smith. And this is to ratify advertising expenditures and authorize the President and CEO to approve future advertising expenditures.
Good morning, President Costa and members of the Calbright College Board of Trustees Executive Committee. I'm Mackenzie Smith, Vice President of Marketing, Communications and Outreach. Today, I'm bringing forth an agenda item related to our digital advertising expenses. As you may recall, our marketing team is laser focused on 3 main goals. That is driving inquiries, in other words, people who are interested in learning more about Calbright, increasing enrollment, especially amongst our target population, and also increasing brand awareness. But above all else, the most important aspect of our marketing efforts here at Calbright is to connect with learners we know are the hardest to reach, those who are 25 years or older, members of the BIPOC community, and those in underserved communities. Our marketing touchpoints are often the first connection that a prospective student has with Calbright, and so we continue to measure our efficacy and improve how we can better engage with that target population, especially through digital advertising. In the June of 2024, the Board of Trustees Executive Committee approved the marketing firm contracts with Solid Digital and Compete Digital to help drive Calbright's brand awareness and enrollment. And that had a focus on organic growth and search engine optimization, in addition to enrollment marketing. In August of 2024, the Board of Trustees Executive Committee also approved the line item in Calbright's advertising budget. And today I would like to request the ratification of our advertising expenditures from July through September 2024, as they will exceed the $100,000 in total, which our policy states needs board approval. The college has already paid for the month of July and August, and the September invoice remains pending given the $100,000 limit. Additionally, to seamlessly run our digital advertising strategy, I'd like to request that the Board of Trustees Executive Committee authorize Calbright's President and CEO to approve future expenses for advertising up to $1.5 million, as is in line with our marketing plan and the advertising budget approved in August. These future expenditures may include paid advertisements on Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, and other advertising platforms as needed. Thank you, and I welcome any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you for the presentation. Colleagues, questions?
Well, just because I drove an hour and a half up here this morning for an extremely short agenda,
Same here, Tom.
I'm gonna-
You don't want to give us the grace of time? Okay, Tom.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
Can you describe what our advertising strategy is like, where we're buying, what's most effective? And
Sure.
you can spend like 20 or 30 minutes.
Sounds good. Yeah, so the main aspect of our advertising strategy is one to drive enrollment, right? We have these goals that we've set in stone through our mandate and then through our milestone report and our strategic vision to hit a higher number of our targeted population through enrollment. That has been very successful within our paid search marketing. So for instance, if someone is Googling California Online Community College, we are paying with our marketing dollars and using our marketing firms to optimize how one might come across Calbright through that paid search. And that is the majority of how we get a lot of our enrollments is through the paid search. And so that's really working very well for us, whether that's via Google search, Bing, LinkedIn, and other items like that. And so we're toying with the idea a little bit this year, just to kind of think through other strategies, whether that would be maybe a Spotify ad or a radio ad. Research has shown that, in-person kind of large physical advertising, especially at the rate that we would need to kind of across the board in California, might not be the most bang for our buck. And it might not, reach the folks that are that definitely need our services the most. And so right now we're focusing a lot in terms of our enrollment marketing in the paid search arena. And then in terms of marketing towards our prospective students, we have a lot of email marketing platforms that are going out to folks that have said that they're interested in us. They want to hear more, folks that attend our information sessions. And so we have a strong email marketing strategy and framework in place to kind of follow up and create some nudges with those folks as well.
So how does AI, in these AI summaries that Google's doing and others are doing, how is that affected the advertising strategy?
Yeah, so actually, if you do Google, California Online Community College, the AI assistant actually puts Calbright as like one of the #1 searches in the AI. So it actually has helped us in terms, I don't know what the numbers might be offhand for, if folks will go and click through us via an AI assistant versus, a regular sponsored search. That's something that we can definitely look into. And that has certainly helped, the AI assistant has kind of threaded the needle of looking through the search engine and seen that like most people find Calbright through that. So.
And what if they don't say community knowledge, which it is, say, online job training classes? But
Yeah. We would still definitely show up. There's a whole host of keywords that we use and try to optimize each month to kind of see what's working, what's not working. We can kind of track the funnel of enrollments by seeing, oh, this person who enrolled or either signed up to learn more typed in X keyword, and that has helped them to get to us as a college. And so we can kind of put additional funding through the keywords that are working the most and like the most effective for us. We can put additional funding through those and then kind of optimize our spending that way and do less money on like the keywords that people may not use, but some folks are still using.
And so all of our advertising is on search. It's not, we don't insert ads into people's feeds or anything like that.
We do social media ads,
Yeah.
paid ads as well. But search is just kind of our main platform of where we get a lot of the enrollments. So we do LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads as well.
Good.
Mhm.
And we're not advertising on X, right?
No.
Thanks.
I have a clarifying question, which is obviously the action before us is actually a delegation of expenditure authority, which is fine. And it's consistent with what we saw in June. Can you remind me, is that for the year? So is it like July to July, basically? Okay.
It is. And we have the clause in there saying that, if it's working for us, we can kind of renew that contract at the end without having to come back for a full presentation of the board, just to have continuity in the services.
Great.
But please read, so, my experience is that trustees are forgetful. So remind us of
I
what
mean,
we
I couldn't
said.
remember July.
So just to remind us that what we did here that precipitated the action that's being taken. It's always helpful.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Great. With that, colleagues, I don't see any other comments. Is there any public comment on this item?
There is no public comment, President Costa.
Thank you. With that, colleagues, I'll take a motion in a
I move
second.
approval.
Haynes with the motion,
Second.
Epstein with the second. With that, can you please call the roll?
Amy Costa,
Aye.
Tom Epstein,
Aye.
Pam Haynes,
Aye.
Bill Rawlings.
Aye.
Motion carries, President Costa.
Great, thank you so much. Next up, we have section 5, the information and reports section of the agenda. We have item 5.1, our standing report on contracts and purchases, which is going to be presented by Chief of Staff Carmen Drummond. Oh, no, there we go.
Committee. Today I present to you the contracts and purchases for the month of September. I have joined with us this morning our Controller Executive Director of Finance, Amber Borth, here to answer any questions if you guys have any questions about the charges or contracts.
Great, thank you so much. Colleagues, this is a standing item. Any questions or comments regarding this agenda item?
Again,
I
because
knew it.
drove-
I looked at him. I shouldn't have even looked at him.
You really shouldn't have.
Because I drove an hour and a half. I'm going to ask you a question about this. This is, I see there's a large expenditure for student Chromebooks. And I remember we started off giving Chromebooks. What's the policy on it? They have, do every student get a Chromebook, and and then they keep it until they're finished and they're returning it, and how does that work?
It is a device lending opportunity, so it is
Right.
not automated. It is actually based on an identification if someone needs to request it. So not 100% of students need to request it.
Right.
But the lending library stock is replenished kind of consistent with expansion and enrollment. And so this is kind of what's on deck for adding to the lending library.
And that's been successful, no problems with that.
So we actually just moved over to a stronger device management system. So that implementation, actually heard some good feedback from the student leaders themselves that seems to be working very well. I think the open-ended part of the question is, I think we're continuing to explore as we bring on new experiences in the learning content and other things, to make sure that the devices that we're using are always going to be the most effective in terms of that delivery modality. So we anticipate there might be, device opportunities to explore different types of devices for some of the things like 3D animation and other programs that might require differential technologies. But other than that, from a standard perspective, yes. it's
Have we
working
had any
cost
trouble with
effectively.
people not returning?
I don't believe so, but I can follow up more specifically on that.
I recall we had a pretty in-depth conversation about the new, like,
Ticket
a
management system.
checkout. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And at the time
Device
anyway.
management system.
So
Or
my-
numbering
I
system.
thank you for asking that question. I was a little apprehensive about the question, Tom, but that's okay.
I'm
So.
trying to keep you guessing.
The question that I have is, first, there are two questions. One, the percentage of our students that have need of and are getting it. Is it 20%? Is it 30%? And if you don't have an answer, that would be helpful to know.
We can definitely get you that because we do track that very closely
Yeah.
and we track fluctuations in the number of devices being requested based on enrollment changes. And so
Yeah.
I will happily,
So then there's
Report
two
back on
other
that.
parts to that. Is there a group relative to the programs that we're offering that would be more receptive to getting this program as opposed to another? And
So
then,
I want to I'm going to channel our general counsel here and say that perhaps we should contemplate a future agenda item
well, that would be great.
on devices and getting at kind of some of your questions,
Yeah.
Board Member Haynes, about, who is partaking, what gaps we're seeing.
Yeah.
because I just don't want to go too far afield of what we've been noticed to discuss.
Okay,
But it sounds like
We
maybe.
can also take that feedback and probably asynchronously respond to the inquiry.
Yeah.
So we can do a data run.
yeah,
and
and,
report.
and so if I can just push just a little, just the last question. And is there a disadvantage for those who are on other systems? On any of the access and the mobility, that a Chrome might have, in downloading and the.
Based on.
Hold on, one pause, because I know Wanda, I just saw she's trying to speak.
Okay,
Let's hear
Wanda.
from the council in the sky.
Okay, I know, be quiet.
No, I was actually going to echo your suggestion and just suggest that we do agendize that. But staff is paying attention to, I think, the concerns and the depth of, I think, the conversation that you want to have in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Trustee Haynes, we are documenting your questions.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Okay.
It's
Having
Tom's
a very-
fault.
I know, Tom, it's always Tom's fault. Just kidding.
And how many people read the Fresno meeting? That's rhetorical.
Next up, is there any public comment on this item? We're on item 5.1, information and reports on contracts and purchases.
There is no public comment, President Costa.
Thanks, Terry. Next, we're gonna move into section 6 of our agenda, the constituency group reports. We have item 6.3, which is a report from our California School Employees Association by Anya Elder.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, President Costa, President Menon, and members of the board. I will keep this short and sweet. Chapter 53 is excited to start negotiations on our successor agreement with Calbright. As the first time, our focus continues to be fulfilling the mission of Calbright. And we really believe that ensuring that we have a contract that provides the necessary working conditions for our classified unit is an important component of us making sure that we're fulfilling our mission, our vision, and our strategic vision as well. So our current contract is expiring at the end of this fiscal year. That's exciting, a little nerve-wracking. We have a short timeline, but we really look forward to working in partnership with Calbright to bring this to a conclusion on June the 30th, and we look forward to the feedback from the board as we go through this process this year. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much for the report. We appreciate it as always. Last up, we have section 7.1, public forum. Are there any members of the public who wish to be heard?
There is no public comment, President Costa.
Seeing none, colleagues, the hour is 11:50 and the business of the Board of Trustees Executive Committee is now complete and we may adjourn. Thank you all for your participation. I just want to say that might be the record for quickest